Okay, we asked the CIA officer 24 tough questions on his honesty box. A lot of Bible stories. Okay, let's see what's this about.
And through our phones and laptop cameras, yes, I hate to say it, they can take over your smart television and turn the speaker into a microphone so that they can listen to what's being said in the room even when the TV is turned off.
Why though? Why would you want that? Okay, that's weird, but
Hello,
I guess.
I'm John Kiriakou. I'm a former CIA counterterrorism officer and what policy he wants to implement.
Okay.
Imagine being able to build anything.
Well,
Just
I
by
guess.
thinking about
Sorry
it.
for the
Meet Base
ads.
44.
What else that they can do that that hasn't been leaked?
Yeah, I guess. I'm sorry for the ad.
Or hit
Wait, I was thinking about something I wanted to say about that. About this fact. I was thinking about something. We were talking about. Oh yeah, do old cars get controlled by the CIA like old cars? Really old cars, you know?
and real.
I don't
yes.
know. Yes,
At the
yeah.
National Security Council, there is a committee that meets every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock to draw up something called the kill list. They sit around a table and they make a list of all the people
What?
that they want to kill that week. And then they take it back to the
Bro,
CIA,
that's
which
not
has
cool,
a
you know.
dedicated unit.
When I think
that will tell
about
you that-
Hitman, I don't think about this way, you know. How can I explain this? At least as I know, when my family was in Venezuela, you could actually hire people to do that stuff, you know. It's possible, man. You just need to have contacts or stuff, but it's not like a CIA agent. I think it's just someone that works solo, I guess. I don't know. But if they have in CIA, are like they pay other people to do it, or do they just train people to do it? Like they're theirs, or they just look for people that are expert on that. I don't know.
I've been totally honest with you. I'm actually a CIA officer, undercover. Are you okay with that? You're a great guy, and you're my best friend, and how about if I give you $5,000 a month, and you just answer my questions, right? That's cool, right? And you
I
undoubtedly
think
will
that's
say yes?
quite low value.
Prep better the day before.
You know, they should pay more.
Yeah,
In some, you know,
Interesting.
here in Portugal, the situation is like $1,000 for a rent of a tiny apartment. Okay, and you just win like $800 a month. Food more like $200-300. Transportation and other stuff. Yeah, that's low for some places, depending on where you live. You know, for me that's a lot actually. But for some people, it can be low for comparing what they have to pay. You know.
This history.
But I see a lot of stuff I don't like, okay? I just don't agree with some stuff, but let's proceed, okay? Is what they do. You know, I didn't know this would actually happen in real life. That's weird, man. I know it happens, but I don't like to think about it. I just like to think that Hitman is fiction. But the Hitman is actually, it looks like it's based on some real stuff. You know? Yeah, let's proceed. Let's not think much about this. Do you ever fear for your life? No. No, the guy, you know, why would he fear his life? He probably can go to jail, I don't know,
Not
but...
now, but over the course of my career, I did several times.
Why?
And I'll give you one example. There were 2 active assassination attempts
Why?
against me. In one, I just got lucky. And unfortunately, my next-door neighbor was killed instead. He was the British defense attaché in Athens, Brigadier General Stephen Saunders. I think about it every single day. In another, an enemy country sent one of its officers and a double agent to kill me, but we had advance warning that it was going to happen.
How did
and
they
we were
know
able
it was going to happen?
Well, we were able to neutralize the threat, as they say in the movies.
They kill the people.
But there was another experience that I had that troubled me deeply. I was serving in Pakistan at the time, And I was staying in
I'm just thinking, I'm just here streaming and seeing this video, and then there's like some huge drama, kinda Hitman style and stuff happening in the world, and I'm just here listening about this. It's weird that it actually happens at some time in the world, and I don't know.
Guest house,
It's
it was
weird.
safer than a big hotel. Sure enough, the big hotel was blown up and 45 people were killed while I was living there. But I left my guest house at a different time, like I did every day, and took a different route, like I did every day, to go to work. And I noticed that a man on a motorcycle wearing a red helmet was trying very hard to stay in my blind.
Okay. Confusing. And because since that day nobody would keep their doors open, everybody would close their cars. It was all really weird since then. I don't know. I didn't born before it, so I don't know the difference, But okay.
Well, we knew we were at war. And one of the first thoughts that I had that morning was, does Osama bin Laden have any idea what he's done?
I don't know.
Does he have any idea how many people are going to die? We all knew what the American response was going to be. It was going to be merciless. The question is, what was 9/11's impact on the world? It was dramatic and lasting.
Yeah.
We're almost 24 years after the 9/11
We still
attacks,
can't
and we
get,
still can't
like,
go through
those-
airports with our shoes on.
Wait, really?
Untold trillions of dollars
I
have
thought
been
it was just only the water bottles, but okay.
spent on counterterrorism and defense, and that is probably never going to change.
Do not pay somebody to build you a Shopify store, because I'm going to do it free with 20 handpicked products by myself.
Sorry.
For example,
I saw a movie, I don't know what the name was, about the guy that was recruited to kill someone. He went crazy, so they actually erased him, like the organization he was working on, and they replaced him, but the guy was still alive though. It was really weird.
archipelago of secret prisons, and they would just disappear people. They
Wait,
would
there's
capture people.
prisons?
The
About that. I'm
Chinese
just
have
thinking they are
always
so
claimed
rich right
to
now,
be a
they
part
don't
of
need
China.
anything else, I
The
guess.
Chinese have never
They're already
invaded
good with
another
what
country.
they have.
They had a little border skirmish with the Vietnamese in the 1970s. They had a little border skirmish against India in the 1960s, but they don't invade countries, and they have only one military base outside of China. It's in Djibouti, and believe it or not, they share it with the United States.
That's
It's
fine
the U.S.
then.
that sees China, I think. So they're both great services, but they're different at the same time.
Okay. Sorry for the ad.
Are sleeper agents real? Yes, they
Yes.
are. And the country that is the best at using sleeper agents
What is a sleeper
Russia.
agent though? Is
The
someone
United
that
States
sleeps?
doesn't have a program of sleeper agents, and I'm frankly unaware of any Western intelligence service that has sleeper agents or that uses sleeper agents. The Russians have an army of sleeper agents. In fact, it's
Stuff illegal because
we
they
were committing
can.
crimes against humanity.
I
so
guess.
it was something that I-
you
I-
guys killing people and stuff is also a crime, but they do it because the president makes it work, I guess. Technically, many of the stuff is not legal that you do. But, that's crazy. I don't know what to say on this video. I can't say much because this is so crazy.
Known the details, I couldn't sleep at night. And I believed, and in retrospect, I was right, that the American people had a right to know what their government was doing in their name. And I'm proud to say that because of my revelations, the McCain-Feinstein Amendment was passed into law, and it formally and permanently banned torture.
Slay.
Have you investigated any of us before this shoot?
Yes.
Funny you should say that. There was some light touch work done. Let's just put it there. Especially the cameraman, that one there.
Wait, even the cameraman, poor guy. I was thinking he was gonna research about the person that made the questions, but okay. In this episode of Honesty Box, former CIA spies and whistleblower John Kiriakou spills all about working for America's primary intelligence agency. This interview was filmed early 2025. Thank you to John Kiriakou for taking part of this episode. You can find out more about work he does at www.jokiriako.substack.com and site stuff. Okay. Yeah, maybe he's saying stuff he's actually legally able to say. Yeah, professional criminals, it's basically that. Not many stuff is correct in the way, Not only the torture, but just, I want this guy dead, just go there and kill it, Jesus. But okay, thank you so much for sending me this. I learned a lot. Was not expecting learning this today, Jesus Christ. But thank you so much, okay?